if you compare a lot of the questionnaires that are sent now as opposed to, say, 2 years ago, it's much different. A lot of clients that maybe traditionally did not understand the value of more of a formal information security program and the compliance around it.
Hello, and welcome back to Klik TV. Here we talk to businesses and discuss the ways they leverage technology for business success. My name is Julia, and my guest today is Roman Shraga, CTO of Klik Solutions. Welcome, Roman.
Thank you.
You've been on a couple of times now, but I haven't had the pleasure of having the conversation with you.
Thank you for having me.
It's a
pleasure.
Yeah. Well, we already know a little bit about you, so let's dive right into our topic.
Let's do it.
All right. So what are some of the challenges that organizations are facing regarding compliance?
Well, for a lot of organizations, compliance is a new topic altogether, and so they don't really know where to start. Sometimes they think it's a massive undertaking that's, limited to large enterprises and big businesses. Other than that, there's challenges in terms of how to take compliance and translate that to operational change or IT security change. Generally speaking, a lot of business leaders don't really understand modern ideas of information security and compliance. And the changes are sort of never ending right now, and it's increasing. You have cybersecurity insurance policies that have stricter requirements, and the list goes on and on.
Okay. So how is this changing so much? You said you touched on that?
Well, really, as everyone's reliance on technology increases, you have new areas of risk that did not necessarily exist before. As you have the Internet of Things, those IoT devices, as you have more cloud-based applications, there is a larger service vector. So what's happening is, from a top-down level, you have compliance controls that are being instituted to ensure that pretty much all the way up and down through the supply chain, you have a standard that is trying to be adhered to. In various industries, there's obviously different standards. In certain cases, a lot of industries are familiar with it. You have the healthcare industry that's had HIPAA standards for some time. You have PCI compliance for companies that do payment processing, for example. But what's happening now is, as that cybersecurity risk increases, you have more incidents, you have more insurance claims, quite frankly. And as a result, from the top down, you have insurance companies that are becoming more strict with, number one, what policies they actually give out, and then the qualifications around those policies as well. Not to mention, from a follow-up standpoint, checks on those policies to make sure that companies truly are in compliance. And, God forbid, there's an actual, claim that has to be made for a cybersecurity insurance policy. That is one of those areas where they start off by asking more strict questions, but at the end, there's more strict verification that you're actually doing what your policy says you're doing.
Okay, so it seems like cyber insurance is really driving this.
In a large part, yes, absolutely. A lot of clients that maybe traditionally did not understand the value of more of a formal information security program and the compliance around it, a lot of the time right now, it's being forced upon them, ultimately, because they have to have a cybersecurity insurance policies to do business a lot of the time. And those cybersecurity insurance providers are changing. So if you compare a lot of the questionnaires that are sent now as opposed to, say, 2 years ago, it's much different. 2 years ago, there was maybe a handful of questions that were really true, important red flag questions for those companies. But now it's evolving. It's an iterative process where those controls are becoming more specific and more robust.
Okay. So would you say it's stricter now? Is that what you're kind of
Absolutely.
getting at?
Absolutely.
Okay.
It's definitely, people are getting stricter with this. They're definitely tightening some belts around there.
Okay. All right. And so then are there any like particular nuances that you think companies tend to neglect or overlook when it comes to this?
Oh, yes. For some of the clients or companies that we've come across, you see an evolution of compliance in certain cases, and you see companies that begin by standardizing an information security program of some sort. But a lot of the times there's blind spots, specifically with supply chain and vendor management. And that's, again, one of those things that I think we're going to see more of in the coming years. There's been a good number of different hacks and breaches that have been publicized over the last couple of years where supply chain really was a big contributing factor of how the breach occurred. And so a lot of compliance now has specific notes on checks that are done on vendors and suppliers and who has access to what. And that, I think, is a common blind spot for a lot of companies.
Then how can Klik help clients to manage these requirements?
So what we have put together in a new offering is effectively information security program management. And we have a couple different flavors of this, depending on the company and the requirements that are in play. But effectively, we are able to not just provide clients, consulting or policy procedure packs that they just, put into their records. We are providing a comprehensive, both a platform and service around building true policies and true compliance and information security program management. And so there are some flavors we have of our services where we'll guide you, and there's others where we make it effectively turnkey and sort of automated for you and even internal stakeholders such as executives, the finance folks, HR, etc.
That's great. That's very important for people, it seems like. So then how would someone go about contacting Klik?
Easiest way is to just go to klik.solutions, and from there you can click contact us, and I believe from there you can get in touch with one of our solutions advisors.
So if someone wanted to take further steps in learning more about this or applying for this, how would they do that?
Yeah, so the easiest way would be click the link below. From there, fill out our cyber readiness assessment. It's based off of known standard compliance frameworks. From there, one of our solution advisors would review it, get back to you, and really go from there.